So Mitt Romney hinting that he could throw his hat in the ring after all in 2016. That would make it his third attempt for the White House if he does decide to run. Romney telling a group of donors, quote, "Everybody in here can go tell your friends that I'm considering a run." Wow, that's a whole different tune than what we heard before. Those comments immediately setting off talk of a potential face-off between Romney and Jeb Bush. So how would that go, ask yourself? Bush announced last month that he is considering a presidential run. Ed Rollins worked as Ronald Reagan's campaign manager during his landslide election in 1984. Joe Trippi worked as Howard Dean's campaign manager in 2004. Both are fantastic Fox News contributors and join us now. So how about this, Ed? What went through your mind when you heard this quote?
It's going to be a very expensive Donnybrook. I think Romney has had a lot of people come to him after the election. A lot of people didn't like the way he ran his campaign, thought it was a miserable campaign, and that he could have won. And a lot of people have come to him and said, you know, you can win this next go-around against Hillary, and that you really ought to go again. I think Jeb jumping in last week basically all of a sudden sort of blocked that path a little bit. They both go after the same money. They both go after much of the same organizational skills people. I think it would be a real extremely expensive race, but a good race. But there's also another 6 or 7 very viable candidates who are not going to be affected by this. Mike Huckabee, obviously, who will have the evangelical vote. Rand Paul has a different vote. The senator from Texas, who obviously everyone's discounting, but he's going to have an extraordinary Tea Party support. So I think we're going to have 8, 10 serious candidates. These two will be right at the top of the list, can raise the money, put the organization together.
And money is such a big part of this. And you know, word on the street, as you both know, Joe, is that the big money is already leaning in Jeb Bush's direction, is it not? So what do you make of the fact that Mitt Romney said this?
That's exactly why Mitt Romney had to do what he did. I think Ed's exactly right. Jeb Bush entering the race or sort of entering the the exploratory phase, saying it out loud, and then Mitt Romney seeing some of his own donors start to move in that direction. He may not have made up his mind whether to run or not yet, but he did recognize that if he didn't say something, it would be, it would be a preordained fact that by the time he got in, he wouldn't be able to go because a lot of his money and organization would be in Jeb Bush's side. So I think his hand was forced by Jeb, and now it's really incumbent on Mitt Romney, if he's serious, to take some more action that says this was real and not just something that he wanted to say to sort of freeze things. He's going to have to get in the game. He's
going to have to set a lot of wheels in motion if he wants to give it another go. And there are certainly people out there who think that he should. And no doubt he was talking to some of them when he said this. I want to just show you a quote from Doug Schoen and take this in a different direction here for a moment, because I thought this was very, very forceful on Doug's part. And he's talking about the president not showing up for this historic march that happened among so many world leaders over the weekend. He said to not even send Vice President Joe Biden or Secretary of State John Kerry in his place shows a level of disrespect that makes me ashamed of our nation. We are at war with radical Islam, and President Obama needs to say it. And this from a prominent Democratic voice, Ed. How much has what has happened in the world, in Paris and in Pakistan and in so many places in recent months, changed the dynamic for this election?
As I watch that visual right there, there's not a former president, whether it was Bill Clinton or Ronald Reagan or either one of the Bushes, who wouldn't have been front and center right in the midst of that group. Those are our allies. Those are people who have paid a very heavy price. They were always there for us, whether it was 9/11, Boston Marathon, what have you. We should have been there front and center to show the world that we're right alongside these leaders in this fight against terrorism.
What do you think of that, Joe?
Well, I'm not sure that President Obama should have been there, but I do think it was a mistake for him or Biden, or, I mean, not to send Biden or Kerry or someone. But I don't think it's going to have much impact on the 2016 election. By that point, you're going to have, whether it's Hillary Clinton or one of the other Democrats and Jeb Bush or Mitt Romney, they'll be arguing about what they're going to do about terrorist attacks.
No, but that's my point, that the question of what you would do becomes very central as everybody screens these candidates, and they're going to want to hear a very persuasive answer to that question.
Leadership is going to be the most important quotient in the next go-round. And every one of these Republican candidates, many of whom have been governors and what have you, are going to have to project real strength and real leadership. We can't have 4 more years of what we have today.
Ed and Joe, thanks again. Always good to see you both.
Thank you.